humanitarian situation in the Sudan. Allow me to extend my gratitude to the United Nations for its cooperation on this collective effort that brings us together today. I also appreciate the briefers for sharing critical insights into the needs on the ground. This high-level gathering underscores our shared recognition of the urgency of Sudanese humanitarian crisis and reaffirms our collective responsibility to respond decisively and with purpose. As a close neighbor and sister nation, Ethiopia stands in solidarity with the people of Sudan. During these challenging times, our two countries are deeply interdependent, bound by generations of shared struggles, aspirations, and cultural ties. Over the past 6 years, Ethiopia has actively supported Sudanese peace and stability and contributed to its economic endeavors by providing electricity through a dedicated transmission line. Sudan is a nation of abundance, blessed with fertile land and natural resources, capable of feeding millions beyond its borders. In times of relative peace, it has witnessed significant development and growth. However, since April 2023, conflict has inflicted immense suffering, causing widespread displacement and destruction. We are here today because Sudan's humanitarian needs have reached an unprecedented scale. This crisis is not just Sudanese. It is a regional and a global concern, impacting lives, livelihoods, and stability across the Horn of Africa and beyond. Global solidarity is essential to ensure the Sudanese people receive food, clean water, basic health care, including vaccines and medicines, and protection against violence. As the holy months of Ramadan approach, urgent action is required, not just in words, but through tangible commitments to elevate suffering. Ethiopia will continue to stand with Sudan in its time of need, sharing from our limited resources and maintaining an open door policy for Sudanese seeking refuge. We urge donors, international organizations, and the private sector to increase their contributions and help bridge the severe resource gap faced by humanitarian actors. Despite our own challenges, we firmly believe that a neighbor in need is a neighbor indeed. Therefore, Ethiopia pledges a modest contribution of 15 million USD in solidarity with the people of the Sudan. Beyond this immediate assistance, the crisis demands an urgent political solution, as peace is the foundation for lasting recovery. We call upon all stakeholders to intensify efforts toward dialogue and a peaceful resolution. Having had the honor of supporting Sudan's peace process in 2019, I can personally attest to the wisdom and resilience of the Sudanese people. With determination and coordinated effort, Sudan's trajectory can be reversed toward peace. On this basis, I urge all Sudanese stakeholders to choose peace and guide their nation toward unity and prosperity. Ethiopia fully supports a Sudanese-led, Sudanese-owned, and inclusive peace process. We also endorse the African Union Commission and the UN Secretary General's efforts to streamline initiatives and establish a single, effective platform for peace in Sudan. I commend our partners, the African Union, IGAD, the UN, and the UAE for their collaboration in hosting this conference. I also would like to extend my gratitude to my dear brother, Dr. William Ruto, for taking time and gracing this important summit. I also extend my gratitude to all stakeholders, prioritizing Sudan and pledging resources to support its humanitarian efforts. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those profound and inspiring words. It is also my honor to invite His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, to deliver his remarks.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Your Excellency Antonio Guterres, Your Excellency Shakbut, Your Excellency Musa Faki, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. The conflict in Sudan, now in the 22nd month, has devastated a nation that just 4 years ago was on a promising path towards stability and self-sufficiency. Tragically, Sudan's progress towards food security, once exemplified by record wheat harvests and sugarcane plantations, some of which I had the occasion to visit when I served as Minister for Agriculture. All that has been reversed, leaving over half the population of Sudan food insecure and millions at the brink of hunger. This crisis is worsened by the massive displacement of millions, with an estimated 11 million people forced to flee their homes. The collapse of healthcare systems, the spread of preventable diseases, and the deterioration of medical infrastructure have further deepened humanitarian emergency. The crisis' regional impact is equally severe as neighboring countries are struggling with overstretched social services due to the growing refugee crisis. This situation demands urgent regional and global intervention. Any discussion of the humanitarian crisis in Sudan must acknowledge that this is a man-made disaster. It is deeply regrettable that the dire humanitarian situation in Sudan stemmed from a political crisis that has escalated into prolonged and senseless armed conflict. The obstruction of humanitarian access by parties to the conflict is simply unacceptable. We call upon all involved to facilitate unrestricted access for humanitarian convoys and healthcare workers, and to allow the resumption of agricultural activity in areas under their control. Your Excellencies, our presence here today reaffirms our unwavering solidarity with the people of Sudan. It is incumbent upon all of us, member states and people of goodwill, alike to support ongoing efforts towards a peaceful resolution while addressing the urgent humanitarian needs of those affected by this conflict, especially women and children. Only through collective commitment and decisive action can we help restore stability and hope for a peaceful future in Sudan. Kenya continues to urge the warring parties to recognize that a military solution, if any, will not and has never brought sustainable peace. We encourage all Sudanese stakeholders to commit to a political resolution through genuine and inclusive dialogue. We continue in Kenya to provide a platform for different actors, political groups, civil society groups, to forge agreement, consensus on the way forward. And as a steadfast advocate for peace, Kenya, alongside IGAD, remains fully prepared to support and facilitate efforts towards a negotiated settlement. It is also imperative that we work together to alleviate the suffering of our Sudanese brothers and sisters. At the Humanitarian Pledging Conference for Sudan held in Paris in April 2024, Kenya pledged $1 million to support humanitarian efforts in Sudan. I am pleased to reaffirm that Kenya will fulfill this pledge with an additional $1 million to demonstrate our support for the Sudanese people. Finally, we urge all external actors supporting the warring parties to refrain from actions that further endanger the lives and future of the Sudanese people. As members of the African Union and the United Nations, we must uphold the fundamental principles of respect for territorial integrity, national sovereignty, and good neighborliness in our pursuit for lasting peace and stability in the Sudan. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your thoughtful remarks. Next, we are privileged to hear from His Excellency, Sheikh Shahbout bin Nahyan Al Nahyan. His commitment to humanitarian efforts has been unwavering, and we look forward to his valuable insights and contributions to this critical dialogue.
Your Excellency, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, Your Excellency Antonio Guterres, Your Excellency Musa Faki, and Your Excellency Wokni. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, co-hosts, good morning to you all. I am honored to welcome you all to this high-level humanitarian conference for the people of Sudan. I would like to express my most sincere appreciation to our co-hosts, Ethiopia, the African Union, the IGAD, for their partnership in this critical conference. Your Excellency Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, your leadership knows no bounds. Thank you for bringing us together. To the very first humanitarian conference in 2005 for the people of Sudan and for the first of its kind in the continent. From here, many more platforms will be mobilized to address the dire situation in Sudan. President Ruto, thank you for your remarks. Excellencies, for nearly 2 years, we have witnessed one of the world's gravest humanitarian catastrophes unfold in Sudan. The crisis demands not just our attention, but our immediate and collective action. The presence of such a diverse audience this morning sends a very powerful message. The situation in Sudan must be addressed and will be addressed together. In 2 weeks, the Muslim world will welcome the blessed holy month of Ramadan. During this sacred time, all parties need to respect the sanctity of these days and accept a humanitarian pose. This would not only reflect the spirit of mercy and compassion that Ramadan embodies, but also provide a critical opportunity to ease the immense suffering of the Sudanese people, most of whom are women and children. This conference will ensure that humanitarian organizations have the resources to provide aid to the Sudanese people during this holy month. Since April 2023, the UAE has provided over $400 million to Sudanese people in Sudan and neighboring countries who have so warmly welcomed Sudanese refugees. Today, we reaffirm our commitment to the people of Sudan by announcing an additional $200 million in humanitarian funding. This support reflects our unwavering solidarity since the last decade alone. We have stood by our brothers and sisters in Sudan with $3.5 billion.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Modi of India. He is a great friend of mine for a long time. We've had a wonderful relationship, and we kept the relationship during the 4-year period. The period that was a very interesting period indeed. I got to see how not to do things. And we've just started up again, and we have, I think, some very big things to talk about. Number one is they're going to be purchasing a lot of our oil and gas. We have more oil and gas than any other country in the world by far. And they need it, and we have it. And we're going to talk about trade. We're going to talk about many things. But it's really an honor to see you, and you have been my friend for a long time. And congratulations on having done a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपको मिलकर बहुत समान महसूस हो रहा है कि मुझे बहुत खुशी कि आज फिर आप यहाँ पर आए हैं और हम पिछले 4 साल आपसे हमारी बात हुई है और हम उस रिश्ते को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं जो 4 साल में मैंने बढ़ाया है। और ये बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण और रुचिकर समय आने वाला है हमारे साथ दोनों देशों के लिए। आपने देखा है कि हमारे पास बहुत कुछ करने को है। अभी पहली बात है तेल और गैस की बात है, और हमारे पास काफ़ी तेल और गैस है और आप इंडिया में उसकी ज़रूरत है जो हम देंगे। बाद में बात आती है ट्रेड की, व्यापार की, और इसके अलावा हमें बहुत खुशी है और बहुत ही हमारे लिए एक सम्मान की बात है कि मेरे एक मित्र आज वापस यहाँ आए हैं और उनसे मिलकर मुझे बहुत खुशी है।
Would you like to say anything more?
No, I'm okay.
एक्सेलेंसी, मैं सबसे पहले तो फिर एक बार आपको यहाँ पर देख करके और आपको यहाँ पर मिल करके बहुत प्रसन्नता हो रही है। मैं आपके इस भव्य विजय के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ। न सिर्फ मेरी तरफ से, 140 करोड़ भारतवासियों की तरफ से आपको मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ और बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ।
Your Excellency, I'm delighted to see you back in the White House and to meet with you today in this room. On behalf of 1.4 billion people of India, let me convey my heartiest congratulations to you on your grand and historic victory.
ये बहुत ही सुखद संयोग है कि भारत की जनता ने 60 साल के बाद किसी प्रधानमंत्री को तीसरी बार लगातार देश की सेवा करने का अवसर दिया है। और मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि मुझे इस कार्यकाल में राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के साथ फिर एक बार कार्य करने का अवसर मिला है। मैं कह सकता हूं कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के पहले 4 वर्ष का मेरा जो अनुभव था, जो गर्मजोशी थी, जो उत्साह था, जो विश्वास था, वही गर्मजोशी, वही उत्साह, वही विश्वास के साथ हम फिर एक बार साथ मिलकर के आगे बढ़ेंगे।
Last year, the people of India gave me the opportunity to serve them for the 3rd consecutive time, and it has happened in the history of India in the last 60 years for the first time. And in this term, I will have an opportunity to work with you over the next 4 years, and it's a great pleasure to see the two coincide. And I can say from my past experience of working with you in your first term that we will continue to advance the India-US strategic partnership with the same warmth, with the same trust, and with the same excitement.
और मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि आते ही राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप ने एक मित्र की तरह मुझे पुराने अहमदाबाद के स्टेडियम की याद दिलाई। ये बात सही है कि ह्यूस्टन में हाउडी मोदी और गुजरात में अहमदाबाद में नमस्ते ट्रम्प, वो दो एक ऐसी बहुत बड़े विशाल कार्यक्रम रहे जिसकी गूंज आज भी भारत के हर कोने में सुनाई दे रही है।
I'm happy that as soon as I entered this room, my friend reminded me of Ahmedabad and the cricket stadium where we held the big rally, and the events that we did, the mega events that we did in Ahmedabad, Namaste Trump, or the Howdy Modi in Houston. We had conveyed a very strong message of our friendship through those events, and the resounding echo of those events can be heard even today in India and the world.
भारत अमेरिका संबंधों को प्रगाढ़ बनाने में, उसको एक नई ऊंचाई देने में और व्यापकता देने में राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप की पहली टर्म की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रही है, और मुझे विश्वास है कि दूसरे टर्म में भी हम उसी गति से आगे बढ़ेंगे।
Excellency, you made immense personal contribution towards strengthening of our relations, towards making them more comprehensive, and in attaining unprecedented heights in our relationship. And I firmly believe that in your second term, we will work with even more speed.
और मैं जैसे भारत के नागरिकों को वादा किया है कि मैं तीसरे टर्म में 3 गुना गति से काम करूंगा, और मुझे विश्वास है कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप के साथ आने वाले 4 वर्ष हम भारत अमेरिका के संबंधों की गति में 2 गुना गति से काम करेंगे।
As I had promised to the people of India that in my third term as the Prime Minister of India, we will work with thrice the speed. I firmly believe that with President Trump, during the next 4 years, during his second term, we will work with twice the speed that we did in the first term.
मैं राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप से एक बात हमेशा अप्रिशिएट करता आया हूँ, सीखता आया हूँ कि वे